Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Great for fans or just a flash in the pan. Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. What up, my whiskey people? Mark here from Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Yes, Ardbeg Wee Beastie, and a huge thank you to Graham Young. He is a Whiskey Whistle crew member on Patron, and you can join at patreon.com/Whiskey Whistle. Huge thanks, Graham. Really appreciate that. He sent me a massive box of all kinds of whiskey goodies, and I will reciprocate, and he will be blown away by what I put in that box. All right, so let's get that poured. Now, Graham, that's like a 4-ounce sample. Are you nuts? Thank you so much. So Ardbeg Wee Beastie, 5 years old, and it's 47.4% ABV. And let me just get that little cap insert off, and we'll get that poured. We'll pour a healthy amount. Now, this is natural in color, as I just lost that little insert. It's unchill filtered. It's higher proof than standard. Not quite as high proof as your Ugodal and Corey Vrecken, but it's a very high strength nonetheless. And it's higher than the 10-year-old, and I'm thinking this is going to be a standard release. I'm not too sure, and maybe Brian, Whiskey Bry on Instagram, Brian, maybe you could shed some light as to whether this is going to be a standard release, or is it just simply a special release of this 5-year-old. Okay, let's check the color up first of all. And I feel like it's darker than the 10-year-old. That is a nice 14-karat goldish hue. And pretty amazing for 5 years old. Now, I'm not sure about the casking, so feel free to comment so that I can know. Does it have a bit of virgin oak? Is it predominantly ex-bourbon? What's going on here? Let's check the legs out together. Here we go. Very slow first legs. Are you seeing this? Really, really slow. The secondary legs are beginning to drop now. And boy, I'm really expecting something very, very rich and mouth coating on the palate with this Ardbeg. Ardbeg. Is it Ardbeg or is it Ardbeg? I'm not sure. Unmistakable Ardbeg on the nose. We have lemon zest, lemon pith, lemon juice. We have grass fire. We have wood fire. We have paper on fire. It's super, super bright. It's super, super lemon pithy. It really does remind me of the 10-year-old, in fact. And to think this is 5 years old is pretty amazing. Now we've also got some ash building here. Again, that is burnt wood ash. We have roasted red peppers. Can you imagine grilled pepperoni I'm getting something like that here as well. Okay, onto the palate. Cheers, folks. Oh, big cheers to Graham. English or Australian licorice with no aniseed extract. Just licorice root. Wonderful, minerally, earthen, mineral, muddy peat going on here. But it's so nicely sweet as well in the background. Pretty amazing. I think a little bit more full flavor than the 10-year-old. And I'll add a good amount of water there. LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, really hit this out of the park, and I'm guessing that's part and parcel because of Dr. Bill Lumsden and also Brendan McCarran, the whiskey makers. Did they find some casks that were exceptionally nice at 5 years old? Or was it engineered, like they thought of doing a 5-year-old Ardbeg 5 years ago? I'm not sure, and I'd surely like to hear that. Now, I'm beginning to notice a light little bit of haze going on. It's hard to see just yet. Yes, slowly getting hazy. It'll probably get much more hazy as we go through the nosing and tasting with water added. Beautiful vanillas and sweet, ripe pear flesh. Maria biscuits, Maria cookies, the almost like baby cookies, the arrowroot-esque. Oh, now the peat's returning. But it's muted, and like I always find with Ardbeg, it's coming off as something kind of like Danish rye bread. Rugbrød. Rugbrød. Hopefully I said that right. Wonderful. Some nice seeds, like toasted sunflower seeds. All right, onto the palate. Cheers. Yeah, you can see that haze more and more now. On the palate again, we've got a shifted peat experience here. Moving away from smoky notes to something a little bit more like toasted rye bread, as I mentioned. They're really, really dark Scandinavian bread. We still have lemon here. We have something a little bit like pickled herring on a buttered piece with Lurpak Danish butter, which is just delicious butter. You have to try it. Buttered Danish rye bread, full of seeds, with a couple pieces of pickled herring on it. Now, tasting this, I'm surprised. I'm shocked. If you're into Ardbeg 10, you will absolutely love this. The price in America is $47. I think it was about $80 in Canada, if memory serves, which is just slightly less than the 10-year-old. So I'd be hard pressed to say which one is better at that point. But in terms of availability, I mean, the 10-year-old is easy to come by. And if you haven't tried Ardbeg, that's a great introduction. But if you're a huge Ardbeg fan and you like the 10-year-old a lot, I think this will really float your boat. But it's really, really well mature for a 5-year-old. I'll say that. Wonderful. The finish with water, you can get a little bit of something kind of like the heavy oil they spray on gravel roads to keep the dust down. And I have this memory of my grandmother. She lived in a trailer park close to Birdsville Park in Winnipeg, outside of Winnipeg. And every spring, I guess they sprayed it. And it had this really interesting, not offensive, not inoffensive, but this interesting odor about it. And that's what I'm getting here. And that's that, I guess that's kerosene, I'm thinking. Kerosene sprayed gravel. So you get the minerally notes from the gravel along with that kerosene. But interesting and very much a synonymous, very much in harmony with Ardbeg 10. But again, it's really, really mind-boggling. This is just 5 years old. It's mind-boggling. It really, really is. All right, well, let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey score for Ardbeg Wee Beastie. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 87 out of 100. You heard it, 87 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey score for Ardbeg Wee Beastie. A delicious experiment, and I think hopefully one we'll see regularly. I hope that becomes a regular release. Beautiful stuff, and I think it's just amazing what Ardbeg can do. And it's right here, and it is just gorgeous. Well, hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you click the link right over here to subscribe to WhiskyWhistle. Click that emblem, hit the bell, ding ding, so you're notified of the future Whiskey Whistles. And why not jump in and support WhiskyWhistle on Patreon, as I mentioned, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. And if you happen to be in Winnipeg, then join the Winnipeg Whiskey Club, okay? Take care, folks. See you for the next one. Goodbye now.